Our family's goal is to visit all 63 United States national parks. Before this trip, we had checked off 43, all in the continental United States. But Alaska? That's a whole different adventure. It has the second most national parks of any state and some of the most remote and challenging ones to reach. Visiting them takes serious planning. Many can only be accessed by bush planes, and the weather can change in an instant, which means delays are always a possibility. We didn't try to see all 8 parks in one trip, but we wanted to visit as many as we could. Over 17 incredible days, we traveled through Alaska by plane, train, car, boat, and dog, and it was an unforgettable journey. We started our journey flying from Charlotte to Seattle, then on to Anchorage. Because of flight schedules, we couldn't make it to King Salmon on the first day, so we spent the night in Anchorage. Here's the thing, Alaska is beautiful, but it's also expensive. Even modest hotels can run you $400 to $500 a night, so be prepared for that. The views of the Alaska Range from the sky are absolutely breathtaking. Because of the flight schedules, we flew from Anchorage to King Salmon midday. We chose King Salmon since it's much easier to reach, no bush plane required, thanks to a runway that supports larger airlines like Alaska Airlines. King Salmon would be our home base for the next few days as we explore the iconic Katmai National Park. But wait for us. Just a heads up, cell service in town is basically non-existent. As of 2025, the only carrier that works here is T-Mobile, so make sure you arrange your ride ahead of time and share your flight information with Bear Trail Cabins. Our driver took us by the one small store in town to grab a few groceries, but here's your pro tip. Bring what you can with you. Prices are no joke. Orange juice was $15. Now, we're really not a camping family, and we don't usually stay in cabins, but we were pleasantly surprised. The cabin was spotless. Each had a TV, and they even had Starlink internet for our precious children who simply cannot live without Wi-Fi. We were expecting to be completely off the grid, but it turned out to be the perfect mix of rustic and comfortable. When you stay at Bear Trail Cabins, they will provide a shuttle into town so that you can visit the local dining establishments. Remember, like most things Alaska, meals are pricey but fabulous. While we were in town, we also had a chance to walk around and visit the King Salmon Visitor Center. Day 3. The next morning, we were picked up by our guide from Katmai Adventure Company and taken to the airport. After a quick safety briefing, we loaded up and took off, getting to experience Alaska from the cockpit. The remoteness of Alaska is unreal. For about an hour, we flew over endless wilderness, mountains, rivers, and lakes stretching as far as you can see. We landed right on the water at Katmai National Park, and honestly, it was one of the smoothest landings I've ever had on a plane. Our pilot helped us unload and get ashore safely. As soon as we arrived, a park ranger greeted us for what's known as Bear School. It's a quick but important session that teaches you how to safely behave around wild bears, because here, you're definitely in their territory. Once we passed Bear School, we made our way to the sign for Brooks Falls platform. From where we landed, it was about a 1-mile hike through the woods. Depending on where your plane lands, it might be closer to the visitor center, but our route from Lake Brooks gave us a great walk through the park. While waiting for our turn at Brooks Falls, we hung out at the Riffles platform, and it did not disappoint. You can see the falls from a distance, but there was so much bear activity right in front of us. At one point, a bear came out of the woods directly beneath the platform. It was wild. We watched them hunt for salmon up close while fish were literally jumping out of the water. Seeing the salmon fight their way upstream to spawn is an incredible thing to witness in person. We got a fish. He got one.
He's like, nuh-uh.
Eventually, our names were called and it was time to head to the Brooks Falls platform. The viewing deck has 2 levels and can hold about 40 people, so patience is key. Spots open up as soon as people rotate out. From there, you're much closer to the falls and the view of the river is breathtaking. We saw plenty of salmon leaping up the waterfall and several bear fishing downstream. After our time at Brooks Falls, we stopped by the Visitor Center and gift shop. Our kids were a total high after seeing so many bears and probably set a new family record for spending money in a gift shop. We grabbed a buffet lunch at the lodge, explored a few more trails, and spotted even more bears along the way. It was truly an unforgettable experience. Being that close to Alaska's wildlife and their natural habitat is something we will never forget. After seeing so many bears at Katmai, our oldest daughter decided she wanted to try fly fishing. So with an extra day on our schedule, we booked a trip with Katmai Fishing Guides. They picked us up right from Bear Trail Cabins and took us on the Naknek River. None of us had ever fly fished before, but the guides were amazing. Patient, fun, and great teachers. They showed us the basics and helped each of us hook a few fish. We spent most of our day moving, studying scenery and total peace. It was such a relaxing way to end our time in King Salmon. After a magical time in Katmai and King Salmon, we caught another Alaska Airlines flight back to Anchorage. Once we arrived, we rented a car and drove south to Seward, where we were excited to see our 45th National Park. The drive to Seward is relatively short but packed with iconic views and scenic vistas. It's absolutely worth taking your time along the way. Once we arrived, we checked into the Harbor 360 Hotel, which sits right along the marina. The views from the hotel were incredible. My husband tried to convince me to hike the Harding Ice Field Trail and actually step onto a glacier, but after a full day of traveling, I wisely played my mom card and said no. Even so, we were able to take our national park sign photo and enjoy views of the Exit Glacier from a distance, another amazing stop on our Alaska adventure. Since we had already experienced Kenai Fjords National Park from land, we decided to see it from a different perspective, a 7-hour boat trip on the Spirit Adventure with major marine adventures. The boat actually departed right outside our hotel, so we were able to grab breakfast and then walk straight to the boarding line. The tour we chose took us where we got incredible up-close views of several glaciers. Early in the trip, on our way to the first glacier, we spotted whales feeding. It was such an amazing sight. Hundreds of birds circling above while the whales dove and resurfaced. We even caught a few tail flukes, but none of them were in the mood to breach for us. Our first major stop was Northwestern Glacier. The scale of it is unbelievable, and you can feel the temperature drop as you get closer. After visiting 2 more glaciers, the crew actually pulled a chunk of glacier ice from the water and made margaritas for everyone on board. Definitely a fun highlight. After the boat tour, we headed over to the Harding Ice Trail to hike Exit Glacier. Along the trail, there are markers showing where the glacier once reached, going all the way back to the 1800s. It's eye-opening to see how far it has receded over time. We hiked all the way up to the glacier, took in the views, and then turned around to wrap up the day. It was a full adventure, from sea to land, and an incredible way to experience even more of Kenai Fjords National Park. After our time in Seward, we drove back to Anchorage to catch our flight to Fairbanks, where we started the land portion of our Holland America cruise. Once we landed, we met up with Holland American team and boarded the bus to our hotel, the Westmark. We chose this particular Holland American itinerary because it includes a land tour by train before boarding the ship, and the combination of land and sea was exactly what we were looking for. Overall, it was a smooth and relaxed day of travel, setting us up perfectly for the next part of our adventure. Our first stop on the land portion of our cruise was Denali National Park. We took a shuttle from Fairbanks to Denali, and along the way, we got to see even more of Alaska's inland beauty. After a quick lunch at the Holland American Lodge, we joined the included Denali Nature Tour. As a family that usually prefers exploring on our own, we definitely felt limited by the structured itinerary, but still gave us a good overview of the park. Our first stop was Savage Cabin, one of the oldest buildings in Denali. Built in the early 1920s by the Alaska Road Commission, it gives you a glimpse into just how remote and harsh winters are in this part of Alaska. We did stop at the park sign for the classic family photo though. That evening we enjoyed dinner at the lodge, and the kids even got to make s'mores, the perfect way to end the day. Even though we were limited in how much we could explore on our own, Denali was still beautiful to experience. The Holland American Lodge was gorgeous and well done. If you're someone who prefers independent exploring, you might want to skip the included tour and plan your own venture, but for a relaxed, guided overview, it definitely works. The next morning, we took a shuttle bus over to the train depot for one of the highlights of the land portion of our trip, the glass roof train ride. It is an incredible way to experience Alaska from the inside out. The ride from the Denali back to the Anchorage takes about 7 hours, and this was actually the first time our family had ever traveled on a commuter-style train. As we made our way south, we passed countless rivers, valleys, and mountain ranges. The panoramic views from the domed car made it feel like Alaska was unfolding all around us. It was such a unique and amazing way to see the state. Once we arrived in Anchorage, Holland America checked us back into the same Sheraton hotel we stayed at on our very first night in Alaska, bringing the land portion of our trip full circle. Now that the land portion of our Alaska adventure was over, it was time to start the next chapter of our trip. We took a short bus ride from Anchorage to Whittier, surrounded by incredible Alaskan scenery the entire way. Right before you reach Whittier, there's a one-way tunnel with timed entry. Since we arrived a little early, our bus driver made a quick stop at a breathtaking viewpoint overlooking Portage Lake. The scenery there was absolutely majestic. Even pictures and videos don't do it justice. It almost looks unreal, like it was too perfect to be real life. Once our time slot opened, we entered the Anton Anderson Memorial Tunnel, the only way to reach Whittier by land. The tunnel was built during World War II and it's one-way, multi-use tunnel that even shares space with the train track. Driving through it was such a unique experience. As soon as we came out on the other side, we got our first glimpse of our big, beautiful Holland American cruise ship waiting for us in the harbor. We made our way into the cruise welcome center, checked in, and before long we were boarding the ship that would be our home for the next 7 days. Once we settled into our room, we spent some time exploring the ship. Our oldest daughter had already told all of her friends that she was going to eat 50 servings of ice cream in a week, so finding the ice cream station was definitely a priority. We'll start here in our balcony stateroom. The room has plenty of storage space, a seating area, and a desk. This cabin also had a bunk bed that pulls down above the main bed, which is great for families or kids sharing the room. And of course, the highlight is the balcony, perfect for watching the scenery as we sail through Alaska. If it is in your budget, a balcony is a must on an Alaska cruise. There's nothing like stepping outside to take in glaciers, mountains, and wildlife right from your room. From here, we're heading up to the Lido deck where you will find the main casual dining area. There are several food stations to choose from, including a hot entree station with rotating options, an international and pasta station, a salad and fresh selections area, and a dessert station. You can mix and match from different counters depending on what you're in the mood for. Next is the main pool area. Since this is an Alaska cruise and weather can be chilly, the retractable roof is closed most of the time, which keeps the space warm and comfortable. There are hot tubs, loungers, and a bar nearby, so you can still get that classic cruise pool deck feel, just indoors. From there, we head up to the aft section of the top deck. This is where you'll find the second pool in the back of the ship, along with wide open views off the stern. This area includes the sports court with space for basketball and tennis. Now we're moving inside to the formal dining room where evening sit-down dinners are served. It has a classic, elegant design with multi-course dining and great service. Next is the interior balcony area where you can look down and see 3 floors below. This open atrium space connects several of the ship's public areas and gives the interior a spacious, grand feel. From there we head to the library, which includes comfortable seating and a book exchange where guests can leave a book and pick up a new one during the cruise. Next up is the Rolling Stone Lounge, one of the main live music venues on the ship. Nearby is the casino with slot machines and table games. And finally, we finish at the World Stage, the main theater space used for shows, entertainment, and presentations throughout the cruise. exploring, we wrapped up the day with dinner in the formal dining room and called it a night. It was a nice, easy, relaxing start to our first day on the ship, and we are excited for everything still ahead of us. After a relaxing day on the ship in Whittier, the ship was finally on the move, and we were headed to our first glacier of the trip, Hubbard Glacier. As it turns out, Hubbard Glacier is actually part of Wrangell St. Elias National Park. We hadn't planned on making it to Wrangell on this trip, but there's a land portion of the park we're hoping to visit on the next trip. So here's the big question. Even though we didn't get a park stamp or a signed photo, does this still count as visiting the park? We're still debating that one. As we arrived at the glacier, the captain carefully maneuvered the ship as close as possible, weaving between chunks of ice floating in the water. Eventually, they opened the doors to the front of the ship so everyone could step outside and get an incredible up-close view of Hubbard Glacier. Being that close to the glacier, you could really feel the temperatures drop. The air was noticeably cooler, crisp, and refreshing. After spending some time at Hubbard Glacier, we decided to splurge and try one of the fine dining options on board. We headed to Pinnacle's Grill, and of course we had to order the famous bacon treat. And yes, it was absolutely lived up to its hype. It was an unforgettable day. Stunning glacier views, a surprise national park connection, and an amazing meal to end the evening. One of the many reasons we chose this version of the cruise was because it allows us to visit multiple national parks. Today's destination was Glacier Bay, and even though we didn't step foot on land, the experience was still incredibly special. When you sail through Glacier Bay, they actually bring National Park rangers on board along with a small park store where you can purchase gear and souvenirs. They even bring the official park stamp so you can stamp your National Park book. So definitely make sure you pack it if you're doing this itinerary. After breakfast, we went to the Ranger Talk, learned more about the history and wildlife of Glacier Bay, and of course, got our book stamped. Throughout the day, we sailed past multiple glaciers and breathtaking scenery. Later that evening, we enjoyed a nice relaxing dinner on the ship. After dinner, they hosted a carnival game night where the kids got to play a few fun games before we headed back to the room, where we wrapped up the night watching San Andreas for about the 50th time. It was another amazing day at sea, surrounded by unbelievable landscapes and plenty of family moments. After a few days out at sea, sailing past glaciers and incredible scenery, we docked in Skagway. This was such a neat little stop, and one thing we didn't plan on was that Klondike Gold Rush National Historic Park was right in town. We had already visited the unit in Seattle, but now we were able to experience the Alaska location, which made it even more special. For excursion, we chose the White Pass Railroad. As soon as we got off the ship, we boarded our train and headed up into the mountains. Pro tip, try to get a seat in the caboose. It will give you some of the best views, plus you can move around and even step outside to capture some amazing photos. This excursion was absolutely worth it. Along the ride, we learned about the history of the Alaska Gold Rush and the extreme circumstances people had to endure in hopes of striking it rich. The railroad was built to create a safer and more efficient route since prospectors needed to haul so many supplies through rugged terrain. Taking the train gave us the chance to see even more breathtaking scenery as we climbed higher into the pass, eventually crossing into Canada before turning around. Once our train ride wrapped up, we headed into town to stop by the National Park Visitor Center, pick up our passport stamp, and explore the historic streets of Skagway. And one thing that is an absolute must-do when you visit, Alaskan fry bread. It was so good. We actually went back for more. After a long and amazing day on land, we returned to the ship for a nice dinner, more ice cream, and of course, the 51st viewing of San Andreas in our room. Our next stop was the capital city of Juneau. While we were there, we decided to take a sled dog excursion, a visit with working sled dogs, many of which train year-round for the famous Iditarod Trail sled dog race. We climbed into a wheeled sled cart and were pulled by dog teams along the trail. What surprised me most was how much smaller the dogs were than I expected, but once they started running, their strength and energy were incredible. After a ride, the kids were able to get out and play with the new puppies, which was definitely one of the highlights of the day. The guides also gave us a great overview of how the dogs are trained and what it takes to compete in the Iditarod Trail race.
That's ours. Yeah.
Once we wrapped up our time with the dogs, we headed over to the famous Tracy's King Crab Shack. This is the place to go if you want fresh Alaska king crab and snow crab. Our oldest absolutely loves all things crab, so let's just say she definitely got her money's worth there. On our way back, we made one final stop at the historic Red Dog Saloon. It was in sawdust, and inside there was even a gun that Wyatt Earp once checked in and never came back for. Today it's framed and displayed right there in the saloon. It was an unforgettable day in Juneau, a mix of adventure, history, great food, and plenty of memories. After enjoying our fresh king crab, we thought it would be fun for the kids to learn how to catch crabs themselves. This excursion turned out to be a great adventure and a unique way to explore Ketchikan. We boarded the Aleutian Ballad, a ship that appeared in one of the first seasons of Deadliest Catch. The ship had endured some severe damage over the years and was refurbished for tourists, but it still retained the authentic Alaskan fishing vibe. During the excursion, we learned about the many ways fishermen catch fish in Alaska, and finally we got to see how they bring in the crab pots. One of the hidden gems of the trip was a stop at a location where bald eagles gather. The guides even tossed fish into the water, and we watched as dozens of eagles swooped down, snatching fish right out of the water. A perfect photo opportunity. After the crab excursion, we walked over to Creek Street, which used to be Ketchikan's red light district. The history there was fascinating, and we learned some wild stories about what went on when it was active. Creek Street was also incredibly photogenic, with charming buildings lining the river, a great spot to take in the town. Once we finished exploring Creek Street, we headed back to the ship. Of course, my daughter couldn't resist another round of ice cream, and we watched San Andreas for the 39th time. That night, we stayed up a little later than usual until about 11:30 and retreated to our first Alaskan sunset. It was a magical way to end another unforgettable day. After leaving Ketchikan, we are now heading south towards Vancouver and enjoyed a relaxing sea day. We did our best to get in some exercise by walking around the outside tracks on the ship. definitely necessary to help balance out all the amazing food we had been eating. Honestly, walking a mile or two after each meal is pretty much the only way to keep up with all the calories. The good news is, since it isn't beach weather cruise, we didn't have to worry about squeezing into a bathing suit every day. In the afternoon, the ship hosted a delightful tea time, and we got to enjoy a classic English treat while taking in the ocean views. After all of our walking, we ended the day the usual way, watching San Andreas 10 more times before finally calling it a night. On our final day aboard the ship, we woke up and enjoyed our last breakfast before having to disembark. We had signed up for a tour of Vancouver that not only showed us the city sights, but also took care of our luggage and dropped us off at the airport, a huge convenience. The tour included a stop at a suspension bridge that looked amazing in photos. Since we had a later flight, we had plenty of time to explore a few spots around the city before making it to the bridge. Our last stop of the day was Granville Island, which was a charming little area full of shops and restaurants. We enjoyed wandering around and taking it all in. After finishing up there, we headed to the airport, grabbed dinner, and made our flight home, wrapping up an unforgettable Alaskan adventure. We packed in as much as we could, not really knowing what to expect from Alaska. The highlights for us were seeing the bears at Katmai and then experiencing the interior of Alaska while riding the train from Denali to Anchorage. Every excursion we selected was a home run, each providing a unique and unforgettable experience. Even with so much packed in, there were plenty of time to relax on the ship. Just being on board, sailing through Alaska, was an experience on its own. Sitting on the balcony with a book, surrounded by that majestic landscape, felt like pure magic. Some of the scenery almost didn't feel real, like it was too perfect to exist. After visiting 4 of Alaska's 8 national parks, we're already working on a plan to return and see the remaining 4. Being able to combine a little independent exploring with a structured cruise itinerary was the perfect balance, and it helped us to see so much of Alaska while still staying within our budget. For Alaska, planning ahead is absolutely essential. Many summer cruises and excursions fill up a year in advance, so the earlier you start, the better your options will be. Alaska truly exceeded our expectations, and it was a trip we'll never forget. If you need help planning your Alaska trip, another vacation, or booking an Alaska cruise, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to help you plan your next adventure.